Good morning, and another day, another video about EA, although this one's probably not quite as negative as some of the other videos I've made about EA recently. And what I'm talking about actually is the Command & Conquer remasters. We've been hearing news since around about October that it looked like we were going to see some remasters of the Command & Conquer games, specifically Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun and Command & Conquer Red Alert, and they're both being remastered. And the exciting news is that we're seeing some of the original people from Westwood Studios come on board to work on this. And we're talking about Petroglyph Games. And Petroglyph Games, for those of you who don't know, was created by former Westwood employees. So we've got a load of people on board who worked on the originals and hopefully will be passionate about creating a project that, well, fulfills the potential of these games and brings them forward for a new audience and for people who loved playing them the first time round. Not only have we got former Westwood employees working on it, though, we've also got the original composer, Frank Klepacki. Excuse me if I pronounce his name wrong. And he made the music for the Command & Conquer games and a load of other Westwood games as well. So he's going to be joining Petroglyph Games as the composer and audio director on the remastered games. And again, that's really exciting because it sounds like we're going to get games that are true to the originals. And on a Reddit post, we had Joe Bostic, who is a co-creator of Command & Conquer and co-founder of Petroglyph. He said this: "Here we are 20 plus years later and EA has reached out to us regarding C&C, or Command & Conquer. They had decided it was about time to revisit the original Command & Conquer games to give the fans what they'd been asking for. Petroglyph has many former Westwood employees and is a perfect fit for bringing the original Command & Conquer games back to life." So as I say, yeah, that's really, really exciting news and really interesting news. We've also got Lemon Sky Studios coming on board, and according to PC Gamer, in an article they wrote, and I'll put a link into that, they say that Lemon Sky Studios are one of the premier art studios around the world with a unique speciality in remastering classic RTS titles. So that's another good sign as well. It looks like we've got people coming into this who know what they're doing. But the exciting part, according to Jim Vasella, who's a producer of these new remasters, is that they haven't started development yet. So from my point of view, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because obviously it means that they are able to get feedback from the community and that, you know, they can tailor the game to fit in with what fans want. But the downside of that, obviously, is that it's some way off. So I don't know how long it's going to be before we see these remasters. There is one other thing that came out of the information that's been releasing over the last few weeks, though, and that is that there are going to be no microtransactions. And that's really exciting news, possibly the most exciting news in all of this. This is what EA said. They said that Command & Conquer and Red Alert wouldn't be the same without the expansion packs. So all three expansion packs will be bundled with the base games into one remastered collection without microtransactions. So yeah, that's really good news as well. Although, this is EA we're talking about. So we have to be a little bit careful because this looks very good on the surface, but it can be read as there won't be any microtransactions, or it can also be read as the expansion packs won't be offered as microtransactions. And if you read it the second way, that still leaves the door open to new content being provided via microtransactions. And that says nothing about other forms of monetization either. So, as I say, always be aware of who you're dealing with. And we're dealing with EA here, and they've pulled bait and switch before, haven't they? They've done these kind of things before where they say, oh, we're not having microtransactions, and then they pull some other nonsense on us. Look what happened with Battlefield 2. Look what happens every year with FIFA and the microtransactions in that. We can't trust them. So on the surface, this looks really good. They're saying there's no microtransactions, but be careful. Listen and read between the lines. Even if we assume that EA are being straight with us, and there are no forms of monetization outside the price of the game, well, that still leaves some questions about how the game's going to be marketed and sold. And we've seen in the last couple of weeks just how aggressively EA are pushing Origin Access and specifically Origin Access Premier. And, you know, we had the staggered release date for Battlefield 5, and I did a video about that as well. The fact is that I think these remasters will likely be used to try and bring people into that service as well. It could be offered as an early access option to members of the service, or we could even see it as an exclusive or maybe a timed exclusive. I can't see them keeping it completely away from other services, but, you know, this is EA and it's going to be a PC game, and we've already seen them lock stuff behind Origin Access. However EA decide to market and monetize these games, though, I wouldn't bet against them finding some way to use them to try and screw money out of gamers. Because, well, it is EA. As it stands, though, this is exciting news for RTS fans and for those of us who remember Command & Conquer games from when we were playing them back in the day. Certainly, it's a much more promising proposition than the Command & Conquer mobile game that EA were trying to flog us back at E3 2018. This has got many of the original developers on board, and it also has the original composer working on the music. And, you know, those things are both very positive. And I'd love to think that these remasters are just going to come out and be fully fledged games with all the original DLC and no other monetary nonsense tacked onto them. And if they do that, and if it sells well and makes EA money through the subscriptions or, you know, however else they seek to sell it, what other games might we see resurrected? Could we see a proper Dungeon Keeper as opposed to that god-awful mobile game? Oh, I'm having a go at women because I'm moaning about mobile games, though. So, you know, take no notice of that. Sorry, bit of an aside, but that stuff's been annoying me lately. You know, maybe we would see, I don't know, we could see stuff like Populous, Syndicate, Theme Park. I don't know, maybe even something like Wing Commander or Crusader, Mercenaries. There's any number of games we might see from EA that they could resurrect in some way, shape or form. Maybe we might even get to see a full remaster of the Burnout games. Hell, perhaps they might even give us a Fight Night game. Yeah, that's going to happen. Anyway, look, I'm getting off subject slightly, but, you know, they hold a lot of properties in their hands. They hold a lot of games that we would like to play, either as remasters or, you know, just new versions of those games. So this could be a positive if Command & Conquer comes out and it's good and it's not chock full of microtransactions and, you know, they don't go back on their word and we actually get a fully fledged game. Yeah, if they made money from that, then maybe, just maybe, EA could change their spots and we could actually see some decent stuff from them. Yeah, right. Okay, look, I mean, it is possible. Maybe, you know, it is possible. But, you know, this is, as I say, this is EA. And as I said in the comments of one of my other recent videos about EA, I wouldn't trust them as far as I could spit a bull elephant. But, you know, it's possible. Companies have changed before. They could change, and this could be the catalyst for that. Or it could just be EA trying to find another way to shoehorn us into a service that they can make more money out of us from. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments as usual. And, don't forget to do the other stuff, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the other nonsense. And, hopefully we'll have a chat about this. In the meantime, though, I'm going to go and get a cup of tea. And I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.